But he did run in the Bartlett last year and was beaten exactly 100 lengths. So,
Yeah.
uh, that's his record at Cheltenham. So
No. Welcome to the Staying On Racing Show. This is a racing recap of all the racing over the last 5 days, going all the way back to the Thyestes Chase and all through the weekend. Doncaster, Cheltenham, and Naas on Sunday, and then Punchestown on Monday. I'm with my co-host Ryan. Say hello, Ryan.
hello everyone.
And I'm Jack. So we'll start off with, I suppose, Thyestes Chase Day. Couple of races there that were interested in just results. Home by Lee is probably where we should start. I feel like every year he does this. He wins a race of some nature, and then everyone says this horse is going to win Stayers Hurdle.
Yeah, I mean, he's an 11-year-old now. It's done well to win a race this season, to be honest, based on his earlier form this season. And as per usual, he won't feature in the big race.
Yeah. Was it 4 years he's come now? 4 years? 4 tries?
Yeah, and he always makes a bad mistake at some point to mess up his journey.
I remember last season there was the whole he's training different. They found a new way to ride him. They found a new way to train him. He's improving as a 10-year-old and all these sort of things. And nothing else seems to come of it. So I'm fairly in the same camp as you that he probably won't feature in the Stayers. Although it doesn't look... Does it look strong?
It's not the deepest race, is it? I mean, you've got Bob Ollinger back again as an 11-year-old again. He's 8-1.
It was a good comeback run.
It was a good run, but you'd think he's been put in his place by Tupu, hasn't he? But it'd be interesting to see. I mean, honesty policy, that form's taken a bit of a hit with Impostoir dispatching him quite comfortably. I know you're a fan of the horse, aren't you? So,
Honesty
what are your
policy.
thoughts on him?
Yeah, I do like honesty policy. I just think the division is. I do feel like every year there's this young new divisional staying horse that's gonna win it all, but then it just ends up being one of the old heads that ends up prevailing. It's not really a race for younger horses, to be honest. But I think honesty policy might be a little bit different.
Yeah, he'll do well to win it at his age, but yeah, he's the one improver in the field, isn't he?
Yeah, there was another interesting hurdle runner in that race won by Home of the League, Jerry Colomb. Back over hurdles, back after setback apparently. 600 days off the track or something like that, is it?
Yeah. It was pretty discouraging at Christmas, wasn't he? But it's a little bit better. But you'd like to think. I mean, that I know his form over fences is significantly better than his hurdles form, but he would have loved the ground. And they weren't world beaters in there, and he was beaten 18 lengths back in third. So
yeah, it's an
interesting going forward.
It's interesting. They seem to think the Grand National is on the agenda for him. I think he's rated 168. That seems a bit of an outside poke.
Yeah, you'd think maybe they'd have run him a couple of times in England if that was the case, try and get that mark down a bit, because I think that'll be his mark, and he's got no chance off that, has he?
No, not really. No. Speaking of the Grand National, the Thyestes Chase seems to be a decent trial for it. I'm not sure it'll be this year with the 5 finishers out of a field of 20 plus.
Yeah, I mean, what's now is the hour now. He's rated 149, so he'll get into the race. It was 145, put you in last year. Does he need heavy ground? Does he need? I don't know. I just can't place the horse. I couldn't see him the other day.
Yeah.
I can't see him winning a national. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a weird one because Cromwell's only starting to come into form now, so it's like a bit like Willie. You can kind of get rid of the first half of the season. The Willie was a lot better than Cromwell. I think Cromwell went 50 or 60 runners without a winner before the Thyestes Day. So then again, would he have beaten Spanish Harlem if he didn't unsee?
I wouldn't have thought so. I thought Spanish Harlem at the race won. He's gone up £4 for unseating.
Yeah,
So
I never understood how that worked. I know it looked like he was going to win, but like,
yeah, seems very harsh that. Just he got a good front running ride and he enjoyed the ground more than most. So that race is going to leave a mark. I think if any of those horses come out next time, I'd be opposing most of them, just based on a hard race anytime soon.
Yeah, it was a very hard race. It was some sight to see coming to this third last, and there was like 8 horses all pulling up in behind, while the 5 in front were going.
Yeah, what was it, 5?
Only 5 finishers, yeah, 5 finishers. So a bit disappointing, I'm assuming, but the ground was, I mean, almost unraceable stuff, really.
Yeah, what's the race that Nick Rocket went to last year afterwards, and I Maximus goes to every year, to try for the Grand National.
I'm not too
I,
sure.
sh- I assume that's where they'll go next and learn a bit more there.
Well, I think I'm going to keep the faith in Captain Cody. I know
Yeah,
he fell after 5 fences, so it's hard to say I'm keeping the faith in him.
yeah, but I mean, it was interesting, wasn't it? He looked like he got out in the first 3 or 4, and within 2 fences he was in last place. What did you
Yeah,
make of that?
and then 2 fences later he was on the ground. Yeah, I don't know. Towner doesn't seem to get that race wrong, and he was backed in from 7-1, 8-1 into 7-2 favourite. Obviously, they were expecting him to be number one, but obviously that's not the way racing works out. But 20-1, 25-1 for the national. He hasn't got up £4 for not winning or for ending up on the deck like Spanish Harlem did.
True. I thought, what do you think about the ground with him? He seems to want heavier ground, softer ground.
I did think that, but then I rewatched the Scottish National. It was officially soft ground, I think, that day. It didn't look really properly soft, and he won pretty much on the billy. Now, he was £11 lower. Maybe that was part of the reason he won so easily, but I'm not sure. I wouldn't say that just yet, but it's potential. So there was only one horse I really want to go through on Friday. Very interesting horse. Joe Donnelly owned, trained by Nicky Henderson. I don't know if you watched the race. Feel good.
Yeah, yeah, he's won that very well. Um, I was in the camp of thinking he would probably run, especially after Sir Gino. I just think the Donnellys don't have many runners at Cheltenham anymore. State Man's out, Sir Gino's out. They've not got much left, but he's drifted from. I mean, he was 12-1 immediately after the race. You can easily get 25s now.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that
Suggest
might be a little bit to do with the comments made by Nicky Henderson afterwards. Now, he made those comments before Manlaga ran, which maybe he was expecting her to be a little bit better. But I can't seem to pick out a horse that Henderson has for the Triumph Hurdle. He likes to have a runner.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I would have thought he'd probably be a runner, and unless something comes out and wins easily at the DRF this weekend, he'd have every chance. You'd think.
Just to recap for anyone who might be watching that hasn't heard what Nicky Henderson said or the conditions of the race, it's a junior hurdle, which means that even though Phil Gutt won it, he can retain his novice status if he doesn't win again for the rest of the season outside of a junior race. So he could go pitch into the Triumph, run an okay race, be green, still learning on the job and finish third, and he could still run in the spring next year. So I think that's kind of what Nicky Henderson was hinting at. But I can't see why he wouldn't run.
No, I'd agree with you there.
So that recaps Thursday and Friday. We're going to move on to Saturday's racing now. We're going to start with Cheltenham. What do you think? What you make of the old racing on Cheltenham?
Well, it's definitely a trials day, wasn't it? I mean, every race was run at a crawl, to say the least. I mean, it just seemed like in every race, something got a very easy lead.
Yeah.
You generally had to be prominent to even get into the races. But it was good racing. It's getting better in this country, with the event at Windsor and Ascot, and with Trials Day. Actually, horses are showing up, and there's some decent racing before the festival, which might give us a better chance coming to the actual days. But I don't know if there were any Cheltenham winners in that day.
Really, yeah. We were just talking about the Triumph Hurdle picture there. A horse that fits into the middle of the Triumph Hurdle picture is, of course, Maestro Conti for the Skeltons. One shade cozy. Might not be the best race in the world, but it was impressive enough.
Yeah, yeah. I think if he settles a bit better, maybe the fast pace of a Triumph will help him to settle better. He's going to need a strong pace because they seem to be convinced he needs holding up, along with most of their horses at the moment. But that seems to be the plan. If they get a really fast pace, like I mean we saw it last year, didn't we? With them going too hard up front, East India Dock and Lilamba, cutting each other's throats, and
You had to bring it up.
in comes
You had to bring
Pirates.
it up.
So yeah. I mean, if they go a fast pace and he's held up out the back, he could. You never know, but it wouldn't. I mean, I think we're going to see the two main horses for that race clash at the DRF in Monge 2 and Narciso Has. We'll see what
Ooh,
happens.
you've thrown out. Well, obviously they're not going to race against each other, but the main two for the Triumph, are you disregarding Proactif potentially going to the Supreme, or just you're talking about the head to head at
No,
DRF?
I suspect he won't run this weekend, will he? I don't know if the. Do you know what the plan is? I don't know if he plans to run again before Cheltenham or he goes straight there.
I don't know. I'd imagine
Uh,
he'd want to get another run into him, but it was fairly late in the season getting him out. I've seen a few whispers about thinking, oh, will they split them up, Narciso Ha and Proactif, because Mullins doesn't seem to have a supreme horse, but I can't see him really doing that, can you?
no, I wouldn't have thought so. I think Willie tends to stick in the races he thinks they can win. He's not too keen to jump them out of where they need to be. So I think they'll both run. Um, but I do think Proactive needs to get another run in. I think we've seen over the years with horses like Blood Destiny who go there off of the one run, and they can struggle there.
He was all the hype blood destiny, wasn't he? He's turned into a right old, you know
Yeah.
what. Another horse, then sticking in the JP theme, Jaguar. I believe you're a fan of the horse. I might have made that up, but I do believe
No,
you're a
no.
fan of the horse.
I used to be a fan of the horse. I mean, I just don't think he particularly wants to win, does he? I think you've really got to kid him into winning. I think the jockey, not that he did much wrong at the weekend, but I don't think John Joe is the best jockey. I think once Harry Cobden takes over, he might have a better chance. I definitely think they should step up to the Ultima. 3 miles might bring about a bit more improvement. At the moment, I think at 2.5, I think he might just be handicapped a bit too high. But
Sticking with JP again, next two horses I want to talk about, Spillane Tower. What should make much of a kind of a race that fell apart a little bit with the favourite not showing up, which the market seemed to know was going to happen, despite Dan
yeah,
Skelton saying,
yeah. Well, yeah, he was very confident, wasn't he? I mean, again, I think the leader got an easy lead. I mean, Jack Kennedy, I think, is giving it a brilliant ride. He seems to be getting back to his best. Um, but I mean, Le Press was giving him £6 and wasn't beaten all that far. It was cosy enough. I think to be Gold Cup winning form, you'd want to be doing that a bit easier.
yeah, I wouldn't be taking any form with long press in the past 2 years as anything useful, really. That horse
Yeah.
has
I
gone a
mean,
bit
he
off the
couldn't.
boil.
Yeah, he couldn't go the gallop in a handicap the last day. I know he had a big weight, but couldn't go the gallop and stayed on late. And then they've given him an easy lead in this, and he's nearly nicked it. Which, yeah, I mean, he's probably looking at the national as well, is he not?
Yeah, you'd imagine so. Wouldn't give that much of a chance, to be honest, but stranger things have happened. You do need to be
No,
a
I mean, it
dour
seems to
strayer.
be it seems to be a lot of older horses going for it this year, which is interesting.
And of course, the big race of the day at Cheltenham was the disappointment in the result of the race for Joe Donnelly and for any other fans of Sir Gino. Nicky Henderson, the horse pulling up. Seems to be a pelvic injury, is what they're reporting at the moment. Now, it'll be a couple of weeks before we really know the extent of it. They could be really bad or they could be manageable. I know there's a horse, Buzz, was anti-post favourite for the Stayers at one stage. He got a pelvic injury and he was out off the track for 4 years. So hopefully nothing like that happens to Sergino. But yeah, that spoiled the race a little bit. But all in all, the new line didn't exactly come out of the race covering himself in champion hurdle glory, is the opinion I got of the race anyway.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I mean, Brentford Hope's rated 138, and I know they've absolutely dawdled round, and it's just become a sprint. But it seems to take at least a furlong for him to just to pick those two up, which yeah, I don't think is champion hurdle winning form. You'd have to think surely Lossie Mouth is. If she wins this weekend, surely she's got to be targeted at the race, hasn't she? I mean,
I
you
don't
can't
know.
be scared of that, can you?
No,
Go
you can't. But see, I've gone through this a lot in my head and watching her races and her two runs, and every time I hear Ruby talk about her or Townend talk about her or Mullins talk about her, they just they don't feel with confidence. I know Mullins and Ruby never do. They're fence sitters. But even the first day when she got asked to lengthen coming to the last and run through the line, she didn't really over 2 miles, and it was stamina that beat Brighter Days Ahead the last day. I'm not convinced. I love the horse, but I'm not fully convinced 2 miles is where she's going to be at her best. And looking at the anti-post markets and potential runners for Rich Ritchie, I can't see any other races that he's got a horse. Now he's got we'll talk about the bumper horse that's gone into a show favourite now. But there's not many other races he's got a good hand in, and Rich Ritchie just likes to get one on the board, doesn't he? So I wouldn't, like, even if she wins on Sunday, it's gonna be soft to heavy ground. It mightn't be the strongest field depending on who runs. She beats Bright Days Ahead, but again, she's done that before. Anzalan will probably be ridden by Spud Mullen, so you can write him out of the picture. So it's tough. Like, unless she completely blows Brighter Days Ahead out of the water, I don't see her going to the champion hurdle, and that's probably on the minority side of the coin there. You think she's a champion hurdle mare?
I just think you've got to take your chance at this point. They've got horses they can substitute into that mare's hurdle. I mean, I've never thought she doesn't jump like a champion hurdler, that's for sure. I don't think she's the quickest, and she's never been the quickest jumping her hurdles. But the race looking as it is, I think the champion hurdle would be the perfect setup for her. It'd be fast run. I do think she can go the gallop now, and then I think she would be staying on late. Whether or not that's good enough over 2 miles, as you say, the mare's hurdle would be a penalty kick, and Rich Ritchie will get that winner. But sometimes you got to aim a bit higher, no?
Yeah, I'd say that probably applies to every other trainer on planet Earth except for Willie Mullins. Ruby said it. I think Ruby was on. It was either the show he does with Lydia or it was the Paddy Power Racing channel, and he just said, "Look, Willie Mullins is in the game to win. He's not in the game for spectacular. He's not in the game to give the fans the race that should happen. He's in the game to win races and win races at Cheltenham." So that's why I think if I had to price it up, it'd be 4 to 6. 4 to 6 she goes to Mare's Hurdle, but I know I'd be in the minority, especially with the bad news about Sir GINO.
I'd agree with that. I mean, I'd say what price is she for the Irish champion? She ran the 11
to 10.
11 to 10.
Yeah.
So I'd say that's probably the odds of her going to the champion hurdle, because she's got to win.
Yeah.
If she doesn't win, then she's not going. So yeah, we'll see, won't we, this weekend?
Speaking of the Stayers Hurdle earlier, there was a disappointing effort from the second favourite in Cheltenham as well. Impose Trois. What did you think of that run?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's not as good as we thought, but I think it was a decent effort on the ground. He was definitely well beaten on the day. Maybe with a bit of better ground at Cheltenham, he might have a chance, but I'd say he's limited, isn't he? He's been beating the same horse, Strong Leader, over and over. Maybe that's just not.
For Strong Leader, every horse seems to be beating Strong Leader over and over.
Yeah.
Now, our other host, who's not in this video at the moment, Gareth Matthews, it was strong at Impose Trois, and I texted him as soon as the race was over and said that horse absolutely hated the hill. It's like, if you watch it again, the second he got to the bottom of that hill, he just went out. Now, it might have been the ground as well, a combination of that, but he just stopped so quickly and plodded his way up the hill. I just thought maybe Cheltenham wouldn't suit him.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't disagree with that.
Then there was a few interesting horses that ran on Sunday at Naas. Speaking of terrible ground, this stuff was absolutely abysmal on Sunday. Like, hasn't stopped raining here, still hasn't stopped raining. There's markets up on DRF going ahead and not going ahead. That's how bad the weather's been over here at the moment. But it was really bad at Naas. But we've seen a couple of good performances, if you want to take them as that.
Yeah, a couple of good horses. K Long won the free was it 4-year-old hurdle. Not bad. I think the Full Force probably would have won without that horrible mistake.
Yeah.
You think?
I don't know, because he was kind of pulling away. Like, he was pulling away again at the end, and he didn't really get stuck into him till after the last. But obviously, it's hard to say. That was a shocker of a mistake the Gigginstown horse made. But
Yeah,
like, I've actually backed Kyle London today, and I thought after 6 furlongs, I thought this thing has got absolutely no chance. Like, he was so babyish. He was drifting across the track. He was swinging his head up. He was keen. He was shooting into hurdles and slowing into the next one. And then he got into his rhythm. And coming up to the second last, he was still on the bridle, and the horse was starting to work in behind him. I thought it was a good effort. And he's sired by Galloway, who's kind of new on the national hunt scene. He's only sired 107 jumps horses that have had a run. He sired the likes of Gala Marceau, Vauban, King Rasco Grey, and a couple of others. So he could be Jimmy DeSoy as well was out of him. So he could be one to watch coming up and coming sire in the national hunt ranks. But I like that from Kai Long. Don't know if I back him at 25s because he's probably second or third string. Danny might get the leg. Do you think Danny might get the leg up on him again, which I wouldn't mind?
it's possible,
But
isn't it? I mean, it was so Narciso Hazelby. Uh, is he JP or is he not JP?
he's JP. So I
Okay.
think it'll be Mark on
So it's positive. So yes, so
Narciso and
probably them.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't
Yeah.
put it past now if nothing else comes out in Mullins camp for this, like if Macho Man doesn't run again, or he might be a bit better than the last day, but if he doesn't go forward and JP wants to go Mark on Narciso and Cobden on Proactive, I could see Paul Townend taking the ride on this fella, but I think he's still pretty babyish to go and win a Triumph hurdle.
Yeah. 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 You'd want to see him run another time beforehand, wouldn't you?
Yeah, there was an interesting horse in third in that race, if anyone watched it, the former Aidan O'Brien trained heavy ground winner Saratoga, who I got you to back for me, trained by Body Roach. The owner trainer combo of Brazil, who won the Boodles. So I think if you watch that run and watch his first run of the season as well, Saratoga might be one to keep on side for a race of that nature. But we're not going to make
Yeah.
any predictions just yet. Speaking earlier of the Rich Ritchie horses, Love Sign Dano made an impressive bumper start.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, he was very impressive. 24 lengths that he won by, didn't he? Looks like the best bump horse so far. He's actually Timeform's top-rated bump horse so far this season. The speed figure was actually very impressive. He was much the quickest on the entire card. Um, yeah, very good result. I mean, Jasmine DeVoe won the race easily 2 years ago, and went on to win at the festival.
PTSD, Jasmine DeVoe. Those stairs hurdle slips up in flames. The anti-post slips. He would have won. He would have won.
Yeah, yeah, well, yeah, probably would have done. I mean, it doesn't. It's not a deep field as you said earlier. But yeah, no, I love this horse. I mean, he was immediately 12-1 after the race. I don't know what's knocking around now if he's anywhere near that.
I think he's a lot shorter. I checked on Carl anyway, and Boyles he was 5 and 6 to 1.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
I think people realised pretty quickly. I mean, it was a very good speed figure, and you put two and two together and realised Jasmine DeVoe did the same thing 2 years ago. And Willie Mullins has won 6 of the last 8 bumpers at the Cheltenham Festival. So if you can find the best Willie Mullins horse, you've got a good chance, haven't you?
Yeah, and it wasn't too long ago. It was probably just after Christmas. People were saying, "Geez, I don't think Willie Mullins has a bumper horse come out yet." And now he's got 5 or 6 of them that have come out and won on the bridle by 10 or 12 lengths. So I'll leave that decision up to Spud Mullins. And
Yeah, well, he rarely gets it wrong, does he? Normally
no,
what he
he
picks.
usually he didn't get it right last year. I'll tell you that much.
No, he didn't.
What was
But
he on?
equally, I think they just left that alone, didn't they? Because who was on Bambino? Was it Jodie?
Jodie
I think
Townend, yeah.
I think she'd ridden it on every start, so I think maybe they've just leaving that as it was. But yeah,
Yeah, he was on Copacabana and Townend was on the other one, the big one. They got halfway through the season. He hasn't run at all this year. Can't think of his name. In the final, the Man Colours.
no, I can't recall the name. either.
The name escapes me. Obviously, not that memorable, not that memorable of a horse. Argento Boy was good. He looks
Yes.
to have bags of stamina.
He
Something
seems
like
to be
the
seems
Irish
to be getting
national might
together,
suit.
doesn't he? Yeah, I mean, you look for his form, and he seems to need soft ground. Um,
And he probably will
he,
get that in the Irish national.
yeah, 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 exactly. I think they'd be wise to skip Cheltenham with him. I don't think, unless it does come up soft heavy. But
Mm,
I think,
there's not
I
much of
think,
a race for him, really, is there? Like, sounds bad to say, but he's too slow for a Brown advisory, even.
yeah, yeah. I mean, maybe a run around there wouldn't be any harm. But he did run in the Bartlett last year and was beaten exactly 100 lengths.
Yeah.
Um, so that's his record at Cheltenham. So
There was plenty of racing yesterday as well at Punchestown. A couple of horses that Willie didn't want to send to the DRF. Leader Dallier, 1 to 5, not much at all in the field, but done it pretty well.
yeah, he's so hard. He was all the rage at Christmas, wasn't he? They seemed to think he was one of their best ones, possibly their supreme hope. Very disappointing then. It's hard to know what he beat yesterday. Probably not a lot, really, has he? But yeah, they haven't really got a supreme horse at the minute, have they? So
No, could be, like, depends on Mighty Park. He's shortening up by the day. He's 10 to 1, I think. 10's 12's best price for the sprint. I think he's a turner source. Even the way he jumped, he was a bit slow. Like, if you put a side by side between him and Leader Dahlia, like, Leader Dahlia is a lot more smaller, agile, pops through his hurdles. Um, could be Townend's number 1. He's still 20 to 1 now. Unless King Rascal Grey, he's racing in the 2 mile juvenile or the 2 mile novice hurdle at DRF. If he comes out and pisses up again, he seems, to me, he always seemed a bit slow. He's getting outpaced in bumpers over 2 mile tree, and I find it hard to believe that he's all of a sudden a very quick supreme horse. But yeah, Leader Dahlia could be Townend's mount, and he won't be 20 to 1 then.
no, not if he's picked him.
And a very, very much a bubble burst, if it wasn't burst already, in Dr. Do McNeil yesterday. Um, was 16 to 1 for the bar. It was anti-post favourite for the Turners before the season, 8 to 1. And then it was 16 to 1 before yesterday, and now you can probably back him at any price. Any thoughts?
He's been very disappointing, hasn't he? No, not much to say about him.
That sums up, I think, the current mood of anyone who's backed Dr. McNeil. Just don't want to even keep his name in your mouth.
I mean, I think I said to you all along, I thought he might end up in the Bartlett. I thought he was going to end up being a slow horse,
Yeah, well,
but
me and Ryan had a €10 match bet that he's going to end up in the Turners and the Bartlett. He took the Bartlett, I took the Turners. He might not end up anywhere with the way
we're
he's
both
around.
losing.
Yeah. Um, you, if you watch the race back and watch Townend the whole way around, I actually kind of knew coming to the second that he wasn't going to win because there was a lot of movement in Townend arms. He was kind of trying to get him to travel. Now, he might not handle the ground. He only won his bumper on yielding. The first day, his first time out of the season was on yielding as well. He might not handle the ground, but he was bumped into every hurdle. There's a lot of leg squeezing going on. It just didn't seem like Townend was too comfortable on him. It's hard pressed to say not to give up on him, but maybe you might see a better horse on better ground. But at the moment, he's a no fly zone horse for me.
Yeah, agreed.
And there was a big form boost. Speaking of the Bartlett, there was a big form boost for one of the market principals. Blue Velvet for Gigginstown won very well yesterday at Punchestown, and of course he was out battled by Espresso Milan, who's 12 to 14 to 1. 12 to 14 to 1 for the Bartlett. Any thoughts on that collateral form?
Yeah, I mean he did it well the other day as well, Espresso Milan. So he looks a decent horse. I think it looks like he's going to be second choice. If the if the market's to be believed. I mean, Dr. Steinberg got a massive form boost on Saturday, didn't he? He beat that horse that won the River Don.
Yeah,
Very,
the devil,
yeah.
on loan. I'm
He
interested. He drifted out. You couldn't give him away on the day. He started the day at 7 to 2 and went off an SP of 17 to 2. So
yeah.
sometimes the bookies don't know best. Not very often, but sometimes they do.
Yeah, not very often. But no, I mean he's obviously running at the weekend. He's 7 to 4 favourite for the 2 mile 6 race.
Is he 7 to 4? That's very
Yeah,
short.
he got backed in after the River Don the other day. But yeah, I mean, if he goes and wins that, he's going to be sort of 3-1 favourite for the Bartley, isn't he?
Yeah.
And then yeah, then you're looking at Patrick Mullins on board. So
So I might be able to get some of the 33s back that I took on him. So yeah, anything else to note? One of my favourite horses, if you've seen it, Statler, was back on the scene. He ran at, I don't even know where he ran yesterday. Some hunter's chase in the back ass of nowhere, and he got a very interesting ride. Nick Orsword thought he was on Vauban, Vautour, Duvan. He thought he jumped the last and sprint clear on a horse who won a national hunt chase. So that's all extra I have to add. That was a terrible ride. The Statler deserves better.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think he'll be doing that. I don't know why he came back.
He actually jumped. If anyone watched it, he jumped the first half of the race. He retired from Willie Mullins and he went show jumping for a year. That's not a lie. You can look that up. And he jumped the first 6 fences like he was still show jumping. He got in so tight that him bunny hopped them, landed super steep. I thought this lad is gonna fucking collapse. But then second half of the race, he realised, oh shit, I'm racing again. So he actually pinged the last 6 or 7, but wasn't a great ride. I'm looking forward to DRF.
Yeah, yeah, it looks like a good weekend ahead. The weather's not great, but
No.
racing should go ahead, shouldn't it?
Yeah, drainage of Leopardstown is fantastic. And
Yeah,
we
yeah.
will be hopefully doing a DRF preview on Thursday/Friday. That'll be uploaded here as well, where we'll go through every single race, graded action and handicaps, and hopefully pick out some winners. So I just finished editing our first ever video on the Staying On Racing channel. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. It was just a quick recap of the last week or so's racing. As mentioned in the video, we are doing a giveaway which runs until the Monday before Cheltenham. It's €10 every single video, a €10 bet. So the first person to comment on this video and every video going forward that comments a bet, could be a horse run the next day, a football bet, anything, I'll place that bet on my Ladbrokes, and whatever the total is on the Monday before Cheltenham, one lucky subscriber will win it all. So get commented, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.